Bonjour, welcome back to my French YouTube channel. Aujourd'hui, on va faire une question de l'impératif. Today we're going to do one question of imperative. This is one of the tense which I've covered in my last video. If you have still not seen, go back and watch that video so that you understand all the notes and then come back and solve this question. So by this time, you all know that you have to be ready with a notebook. Note down all these parts. Pause this video, solve it yourself with your own understanding and then check your answers. So let's quickly jump into today's video. First part, can you observe something in all my tense and tenses? What is common in all my tense and tenses? Can you guess? Yes, they are all ending with an exclamation mark. Imperative sentences always end with an exclamation mark. Very good. Très bien. What's the next thing? The next thing is that in all my sentences, il n'y a pas de pronom sujet. There is no subject pronoun. Can you see? There is no subject pronoun. Only the starting is with the verb. So let's get started. First part, être gentil s'il vous plaît. Sometimes the keywords will be given, with the help of which you will be able to identify whether you need to conjugate with you, nous or vous. Sometimes it will be given and sometimes it will not be given. So we are going to see all kinds of sentences here. Let's get started. First part, être gentil s'il vous plaît. Can you see the word s'il vous plaît? S'il vous plaît means that we need to conjugate with the subject pronoun vous. S'il vous plaît means please. So we need to conjugate with vous. Let's start. Être. Do you remember the exception? Être imperative is sois, soyons, soyez. Excellent. So avec vous, soyez. Soyez gentil s'il vous plaît. Be kind please. Next part. Avoir du courage. Now can you see in avoir du courage? There is no keyword given. So we can conjugate either with tu or vous. Preferable is that you can conjugate with tu or vous. So let's conjugate with tu this time. So avoir imperative is I tu courage. Have some courage. Let's move on to the third sentence. I have also mixed few pronominal verbs here. Positive and negative so that you understand all kinds of parts. Se taire dans la classe. Se taire is to keep quiet. Be quiet in the class. Now again there is no indication whether we need to conjugate with tu or vous, so you can do it with any one of them. Let's do it with vous this time. Taisez-vous. How do you conjugate this verb? You remove re, you add s, t, te, and on the right side it is sons, sez, sent, taisons, tais, tais. Okay, so and do not forget to write the pronouns. Je me tais, tu te tais, il se tait, nous taisons, vous taisez, il se taise. So written with vous. Taisez-vous dans la classe. Keep quiet dans la classe. Let's move on to the next one. Ne pas parler trop vite. Do not speak too fast. So now it is an ER verb. So what was the exception in ER verbs? We have to drop the S if we are writing with tu subject pronoun. Okay, so and it's negative. How are we going to conjugate? Ne pas pas. Do not speak. Okay, and drop the S. Next part. Savoir les leçons. So know the lessons. Savoir again was an exception. I have covered all my exceptions in the previous video. So savoir exception was sage. Sachant, sachez. So I'm going to do it with sachez because again no indicator is given. Sachez les leçons. Know the lessons. Next part. Se laver les mains. Wash hands. So again you can do it with tu or vous. Let's do it with tu this time. Lave-toi les mains. Wash the hands. Okay. Let's move on to the next part. Ne pas se promener seul. Ne pas se promener seul. Se promener, to go for a walk, and it's given in negative. So do not go for a walk alone. Again in negative, so we can do it with tu ne te promène pas. Remember one thing, in negative, the pronouns will be before ne te promène pas, and in positive it will be afterwards. You can also make a sentence here, lave toi, simply lave toi, or if I just write lave, then it can be laver les mains. That can also be done. Okay. Next part, jouer tes jeux. Do we have an indicator here? Can you see? Do we have an indicator here? Yes, très bien. We do have an indicator. Te. Te means on va conjuguer avec le pronom sujet tu. Très bien. Okay. So jouer tes jeux. Play your games. So jouer, we're going to conjugate with tu. Drop the S. You have to drop S. Next part, ne pas vouloir téléphoner à vos amis. So again, do we have an indicator? Yes, we do have an indicator. Vous. How are we going to conjugate it? Avec le pronom sujet vous. Vouloir, again, it was an exception. I would recommend you to go back to my previous video if you do not remember the exceptions, because I've covered most of the exceptions here. Ne veuillez pas. Ne veuillez pas. Vouloir exception is veuille, veuillons, veuillez. So ne veuillez pas téléphoner à vos amis. Last part, manger les légumes. So now again you can write with vous or tu, because no indicator is given. So let's do it with vous. Manger les légumes. So can you see, if you get this question, this tense in convenient tense question, how are you going to identify? Exclamation mark, no subject pronoun, check for the indicators, very very important. Any indicator is given. If no indicators are given, you can do it with tu or vous. If indicators are given, s'il vous plaît, or probably you can note down this word also. There is one more word, s'il te plaît. S'il te plaît is also please. If s'il te plaît is given, it will be with tu. So remember that. And adjective possessive, just remember the table of adjective possessive. If the tu line is given, for example, ton tate, we're going to conjugate with tu. If votre is given, we're going to conjugate with vous. I hope it's clear. If you still have any doubt in this, put it down in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to help. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Au revoir.